Anyone who has lived 102 years will leave a legacy. Sorry. And my grandma's leaving me a great home. Her story is one of strength, grace, and love of family. My great-grandma graduated Rockford High School in 1936. Her children, grandchildren, and great-grandkids are following in her footsteps, graduating from Rockford as well. In 2016, I received the Examples in Excellence Award. I was proud of it, but did not realize how cool it was until I saw my grandma at the ceremony. The lady who showed my grandma Diane, who showed my mom, who showed me how to be excellent, how to be kind to everyone, work hard at everything I do, and live in the moment. The ceremony was at the current administration building in the gymnasium, the same spot and building my grandma graduated from 8 years earlier. The same spot she took all of her classes, met all of her friends, and received all of her education. I was receiving an amazing award in the same place my grandma went through high school 80 years back. Little did I know, my grandma also walked from Myers Lake Road, where she grew up, all the way to this building downtown Rockford almost every day for school. My great-grandma was a living history book as she lived through 2 world wars, 2 pandemics, and the Great Depression. Because of this, there were many lessons we all learned, one of them being you have to eat everything on your plate. I remember every time we would have supper together and I wouldn't eat all my food, she would say something on the lines of, during the Depression, we would never throw away any food, making me realize that I should probably finish the rest of my plate. She would not often talk about these events, but they shaped who she was, and she was stronger and more resilient because of them. This model of strength is one that I will take with me, and I know all of her grandchildren will take with them as well. She lived through good times, and she survived hard times, and that gives me hope that when difficult things come my way, that I will be okay. Another trait my grandma had was one of grace and a quiet strength. Every time I saw her, which was very often, she was dressed to perfection. I've never seen her without her hair done and her outfit perfectly matched and pressed. In the summer when I would visit, I would often hear comments about my shorts being too short or that I needed new jeans because mine had holes. I would laugh it off, and she would too, because we both knew that times have changed, and I kept her young, and she kept my soul old. My great-grandma also showed kindness to everyone and an interest in whoever she was talking to. If I brought a friend to see her, she would ask me about their whereabouts for months after, always wondering how they're doing and if they're succeeding with school and life. My grandma was also never beyond meeting a new person and showing them that she genuinely cared for them. When she would come to our house or we were at a gathering, you would see Grandma observing everything around her. She would watch us play in the lake, and when it was time and we would come over to sit by her, she would engage us in a great conversation. She didn't waste words, and she was always intentional and caring with her conversations. She always showed great interest in whoever she was talking to. I think we can all learn a lesson from Grandma about being present. She never had a cell phone that I know of, so every conversation was meaningful to her. She was always looking at you in your eyes and focused on the person in front of her and never paying attention to a screen. Another thing I loved about my grandma was her sass. She knew how to stand her ground when she needed to, but was always kind and humble. She showed me how to be a strong, independent woman and how to stand up for what I deserve and believe in. She showed me that I can protect myself and be in charge, but I can also take a step back and be vulnerable and humble when I need to. My great-grandma had many titles. She was a wife, mom, grandma, great-grandma, and great-great-grandma. When I was 6, my grandma Diane passed away. I did not think I would ever have a grandma again, but grandma stepped in and filled the big void that losing my grandma Diane left. She showed me how family works, and no matter what, you're there for each other. She was stern when I needed it, but loving when I was down. She showed not only me, but my cousins, and most importantly, my mom, what the perfect grandma should be. I know that my cousins, myself, and my mom will all strive to be the best we can and follow in her footsteps. I love spending time with my grandma. We would often do puzzles together, which never lasted long because I would get bored. We would go to her house in Greenville for holiday suppers, which were more like brunch to me, but she liked when we called it supper. We would also meet her at the Halfway House on M57. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a restaurant halfway between Rockford and Greenville. It was typically my mom, Carrie, and I who went, but sometimes others would tag along. It was always really funny because we loved seeing Grandma, but the food here was not that great. We never told her that though because we loved spending time with her. Sorry Grandma, I hope that didn't hurt your feelings too much. My grandma was also at every sporting event she could make it to. She loved to support anyone in the family she could. I would look over and she was always the one who was paying attention. I could always hear my dad yelling at me. My mom was always watching, but I could tell Grandma was just happy to be there sitting watching me play. 102 is pretty old. I remember we had big plans for her birthday party when she turned 100. COVID ruined that, just as everything else, so we had to be spontaneous. We did a drive-by birthday party where we all had signs, and she was able to sit outside with all of her friends from Boulder Creek and watch us drive. I was taken away by how many people were there. She was such an amazing lady, and everyone knew it. The birthday party even made it into the paper, which she read religiously. My great-grandma is who I want to be, one who leaves a legacy, who has grace and quiet strength, and one who loves her family. She taught me not only how to be present in every conversation, to never take anything for granted, and to always stay modest and humble, but she also taught me how to be the strong and independent woman that I am today. Thank you, Grandma, for being the best role model, mom, wife, grandma, great-grandma, and great-great-grandma we could all ask for. We all love you always and forever, and I'm waiting for the day I'm in heaven with you and Grandma Diane, doing puzzles and